In this video, I asked ChatGPT to tell us how to make money with NFTs. We're going to go through some of the answers, including some of the more creative responses. So the initial response from ChatGPT was to create and sell your own NFTs. So for example, digital art, music, videos, etc. Now, that's obvious. And then you can sell that on a particular marketplace or your own website where you can mint it out. So we know about that. The second way is to buy and resell NFTs. So if you buy an NFT and then you sell it again on any marketplace for a higher price, obviously you'd make the profit there. Third one, earn royalties. So if you had your own NFT collection, obviously there were marketplaces that don't really do any royalties now. But traditionally, or if, for example, you're using OpenSea or similar, you can still earn royalties from each of these actual sales. Number 4, an interesting one, is participate in NFT farming. So some protocols allow you to earn tokens by holding certain NFTs. Now, this is all to do with staking, which is still, with some of the better known NFTs, a way that you can actually earn sometimes tokens, etc. But the massive problem with that is the deflation and the value of the tokens steadily kind of going towards zero. Finally, it says be creative, think outside the box, find unique ways to use NFTs. Now, for most people who are trading NFTs, this is not particularly helpful. All it's really saying is you can make a little bit more profit, but let's feed it a few more specific questions to see if we can get some better ideas. And I'll just remind you, in one of my previous videos, the reason ChatGPT and AI is so important is I am 100% certain this is going to change everything. And it's as big, if not even bigger, than the invention of the internet. But the key skill for you watching today is, how do you leverage AI? How do you use AI correctly? And I think at some point later this year, we'll see some sort of overlap between AI and NFTs, not in just in terms of actually generating the artwork, but much, much more. And I'm talking innovation with regards to the smart contracts, how communities work. That's why it could be a very exciting year for NFTs. So people believe that things will be quiet for a while with NFTs, possibly even years. I don't believe that, because as I've said in previous videos, AI is speeding everything up now. So 3 years suddenly becomes 4 to 6 months. So I've asked a more specific question now. Let's hone in on how can I make money trading NFTs. But before I discuss some of the answers there, note that in the original one, it's worth noting that NFT market is quite dynamic and can be quite volatile. Prices can fluctuate rapidly and there's no guarantee of making a profit at all. Also, it mentions that the regulatory environment around NFTs is still evolving, which is very much true. And this is, we've seen some cases where the SEC is now looking into things. For example, one of them is ApeCoin and how that was set up from the creators Yuga Labs. I really like this because it's a very comprehensive answer. It's actually warning you of a lot of the pitfalls a lot of beginners make when it comes to NFTs, which I've talked about on this channel for a very long time now, which is assuming that if you just buy something like an NFT and hold for a long period of time, everything goes up in value, which is obviously not the case. So in terms of answers here, it says research the market. You need to have a good understanding of market trends and the different types of NFTs available. Now, personally, I don't think that's really a 100% requirement. It's more you actually research in the particular collection you're looking to invest in. You actually understand how NFT prices change over time and the common kind of moves we see, the common kind of pumps and dumps we see in the actual buying cycle or the NFT phase cycle. So researching a marketplace is not really that important, as long as you actually understand how to use a marketplace, for example, like OpenSea. Number 2, it says invest in popular NFTs with a proven track record of appreciation in value. Now, I think this is a very good answer. I mean, this is probably alluding to blue chips, which tend to go up and down in terms of value. So let's have a look at, for example, Azuki. You can see here, Azuki has a value right now, floor price of 16 ETH, and that's been up and down. So just for free here on OpenSea, you can click on, for example, the analytics tab. And if we go back to the last 30 days, you can actually see how the floor price has been developing. But if you go back on an even longer time frame, you can see that it ebbs and flows with the blue chip NFTs. Next, it says invest in upcoming NFT projects. Look for upcoming ones that have a good reputation, a talented team, and a unique idea that may be undervalued and have potential for appreciation. This is not a great answer and very unspecific. When you're looking to invest in a new mint, for example, there's so many other factors you have to consider, let alone just the mathematical factors, like how much supply is there of that NFT, what's the actual mint price of the NFT, what's the audience they're actually selling to, the size of that audience. These things are very important, and good reputation and talented team is very hard to kind of define accurately nowadays with NFTs. Number 4, it says diversify your portfolio by investing in a variety of different NFTs. I think actually you should be doing the opposite, diversifying in a lot of NFT projects where you kind of lose focus. And the other problem is you'll end up with loads and loads of NFTs in your wallet, which I've discussed before as well, and just forget about them. It's hard to kind of concentrate on what's going on too many different areas or avenues. It's actually better you focus on anywhere between 1 and 3 NFT collections. And if you think one's doing really well or it's already started doing well, you can always buy another NFT within the same collection. You need to kind of get to know certain collections well. Number 5, use a stop loss and take profit. Now, this is, I mean, there are tools that are kind of developed that can potentially do this or give you some sort of trigger and stuff like that, but it doesn't really work with NFTs. And generally, you shouldn't really be using stop loss or take profit anyway in trading. You have to be very careful with that because you get a lot of whipsaw activity. So what you should be doing, which is better, is keeping an eye on the market and the trends if you've already bought an NFT, and then making an informed decision. Like if you know there's new news coming out or you see a pump in the price. With NFTs in general, you should be selling into the pumps. And if you do want to buy, you're buying at a time when the price is actually dipping, not appreciating. As an example, on our app, Deep Blue, if you type in Azuki, and I'll link it below this video, and you go on to the, let's say, the candlestick chart here, and we can go back all the way to June and beforehand. The point is, when you're investing in NFTs, you want to buy at times when the price is low. Now, you're never going to know how low the price is going to go. But if it was a blue chip, you want to be buying at a time when you're seeing the price actually falling. So even if you bought here or here, that's still a valid investment, a good investment, because you could argue that that was a support level for Azuki, for example, around the 18th mark. Now, we can't control what's going on with the wider market, crypto market, etc. But the point is, you don't want to be investing into green candles when the price is clearly appreciating upwards. That's a recipe for disaster when it comes to NFTs. When something's already pumped, it's better to actually walk away from it. Another cool thing you could do here when it comes to the actual question is you can re-roll that question. Now, they have been having problems with the site at the moment, but previously you could click on regenerate response. I mean, you could just copy and paste the same question, but let's go for something more specific now. So the final couple of questions: how do you know if an NFT will go up in value? Obviously, they've said it, it can be quite difficult, but popularity. NFTs in high demand are more likely to appreciate. Now, this is very much true. I mean, trading volume is very, very important when it comes to NFTs. Then it says scarcity, NFTs that have limited supply. Not particularly helpful, because I actually think the popularity is one of the most important things. But yeah, obviously you have to kind of marry that with the supply and the numbers actually available. Create a reputation. I completely agree. That is important. But again, it's a little bit different. Just because you're a famous celebrity and stuff like that and you don't know anything about NFTs and then you suddenly launch an NFT, that's very different to somebody who's an existing founder who knows a lot about NFTs, has already launched successful collections and is looking to do the same, either a derivative or a new collection. That's very, very different. So that's worth noting there, because the way NFTs work and hold value and the way you can continue to provide value to your community, it's very tricky. It's definitely a challenge, especially in the NFT market at the moment. That's a hell of a lot smaller than it was, say, 12 months ago. Number 4, utility. NFTs that have utility and a use case are more likely to hold their value. Yeah, that's kind of an obvious answer, but yeah, that is true. Defining what the utility will be in 2023 for NFTs will be a very difficult topic, one that I'm going to discuss in a separate video. And number 5 and 6, technological advancements. I think that's a little bit vague there in terms of an answer. Market conditions. Crypto market is known for its volatility. It's important to keep an eye on the overall market conditions. Yes, very true. And let me illustrate that to you on our Deep Blue tool on market insights here. So if we go back well, let's say a year. If you go back and you have a look at the volume, you can see it's picking back up in January, but it's still historically very, very low. However, the number of collections that are being minted or released is still relatively high, it remain quite consistent. So what that will mean is if we can get an increase in terms of the actual trading volume, the marketplace volume across different of the most the largest marketplaces, then potentially we could see all of the NFT collection values increase. That's kind of how it works. And final question, what's the best NFT collection to invest in right now, according to ChatGPT? Answer: I'm sorry, I can't provide the answer right now because it depends on a variety of factors subject to market fluctuations. Now, it's a bit of a cop-out answer, but it's true. It's right. It is a whole set of factors. And further, it kind of elaborates on that with a general note that you should understand the market trends, research marketplaces, look for upcoming NFTs. So note that it's actually giving a lot of the same answers. And this is the problem with ChatGPT 3 is they don't really have live world data at the moment. They only have the certain amount of data that was fed into the system at the beginning. And to make this answer, so you'll see a lot of repetitive answers, but to make this answer a lot better in future, I think with the new version that's coming out, especially if it has real world data feeding into it, you'll get some incredible answers. And I can't wait to see that. But my own answer, for what it's worth for this particular question is, I think if you have the opportunity to, you should be considering the blue chips, but obviously not whilst they're pumping, whilst you see a little bit of a dip in price. If it's a longer term investment, for shorter term flips, especially if your budget is quite limited, you should be looking into the area where new mints are still releasing. But ideally, you're looking again at the audience size, at the supply, at the potential there, and then you fully understand how the mint cycle works. So whether it's worth minting or buying on the secondary market after, but more on that in a separate video. Thanks very much for listening.